I was jiggling about in my seat, giving it all that. Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Club. This week we went to go and see Chef El Jefe, to use the Spanish term.
The return to writing, directing and starring duties, triple threat for Jon Favreau. He's playing a very successful chef, funnily enough, who sort of worked his way up over the last 10 years, finds himself in a very nice, posh restaurant, but not really in control of the food he's cooking.
Creatively stifled.
And not enjoying it, pleasing the crowd rather than pleasing himself. And then he gets sacked, jacks it all in, goes on the road, starts a food truck and reconnects with his family and lives happily ever after.
And eats a lot of sandwiches.
If you replace the word chef with
director
and food and cooking with directing and making movies, you've essentially got how Jon Favreau must have felt for the last few years or so.
Tip, if you're going to go and see this film, do not do what we did and go and see it having not had dinner, because you
not
will
the film
get
to see on an empty stomach, no.
You were literally, I mean, one of the things that's great about this film are the shots of the food. Like,
the food porn is fantastic.
Oh, like the sandwiches, the melted cheese, the pasta, like, can't fault that. And the other thing that I liked about it was the soundtrack. Brilliant soundtrack. Like, literally every classic kind of vaguely salsa-esque hit from the playbook is on there. I would say it's funny. Like, I chuckled a few bits.
It's a really charming, sweet film, and it's equal parts funny and touching, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd go like that
No,
far.
I mean,
I don't think I've clutched it to my bosom in the same way.
No, I mean well, I think those are the good parts about it. I think you balance that with the fact that the plot is incredibly generic and you know almost from the outset exactly where it's going, and there are no surprises in it.
That bit for me wasn't so bad. The huge issue that I've got with it is that it's just hugely self-indulgent and to not much avail. How convenient that Jon Favreau manages to get Scarlett Johansson and Sofia Vergara to both love and adore him throughout the film.
I think
and have mates like Robert Downey Jr.
I think that's one of the perks of being writing, directing and starring and funding your own film.
It's just not.
You get to go from Sofia Vergara to Scarlett Johansson.
No one's chili pasta is that good. Like, I don't care how good a chef you are. The other bit that I didn't believe that was believable, but maybe I'm being maybe I'm not being fair, is that do you really think that he'd be that clue? Like, the main thrust of this narrative is that he doesn't get social media at all.
I think there are still people.
Really?
I think there are still people out there in the world who aren't on Twitter.
So the ins and outs and the actual logistics of sending a direct message as opposed to a public tweet, I can see how that could be confusing to someone who's never used it before. But the concept of social media and the fact that, you know, if you send something, and the fact that, like, even as he's been introduced to it, and as they're going on their little food truck road trip, and his son is doing all the stuff online, like, they're like hugely surprised by the fact that this has generated a load of publicity. And I just think, in this day and age, when it's so everywhere, like, even if you're not on social media, it's like on every TV show. Like, I just thought, really, like, are you that oblivious to the world?
I went with the plot that he was just simple and clueless, and it kind of helped propel the film along.
It just felt a bit lazy to me.
To me, the issue I had was the sort of constant references and popping up of Twitter logos when you're supposedly making a independent outside the studio film, and there's that much gross product placement going on. It just felt a little bit too commercial. It seems like you've gone on a lot about it. You didn't seem to enjoy it that much.
So I wouldn't say that I didn't enjoy it. I would say it was kind of good, average. Like, I wouldn't say it was. I wouldn't rush to go and see it again. I wouldn't say it was anything remarkable. It looks like he had fun doing it. Good for him.
It took a while to get going, and you kind of have to sit through the opening and get when you get the concept and when you understand the level it's working at, and it's never going to set the world on fire. By the time when they finally get on the road, and it's him and his son and John Leguizamo, I think it's quite sweet and funny and charming at that point. But there is a certain amount of setup generic setup you have to sit through to get there.
It's all quite generic, really.
It was all quite generic, but I think it was well enough executed to get away with it.
I suppose I'm a little bit disappointed because I think he is capable of more, and that cast is capable of more. I just felt like he fancied a bit of a fun, self-indulgent road trip and a food truck and eat a lot of food, which, I mean, who wouldn't with that money? That's fine. But, why do I have to pay 15 quid to go and see it? So for me, it's 6 popcorns. Oh. Meh.
Yeah, I think for me it's 6.5. It's based on some of the.
I can't believe you've been arguing with me and you're like, I'm going to give it the same mark.
The issue is that based a lot of the films I've given 6 to that we've done already, I think it's a better film than them, but it's not as good as.
It's not a
7. So it's a 6.5.
6.
0.5.
So, did you see Chef this week? Do you agree, or do you think it was the best film ever that you've ever seen? And that's also a valid opinion. Please.
I don't know. Well, an unlikely opinion.
Comment and let us know. Next week we're going to go and see How to Train Your Dragon 2, which hopefully will be as good as the first one, because we both like that. Until then, you can always comment, follow us, subscribe, speak to us on Twitter, Facebook, carrier pigeon, whatever you want to do.
No, don't do that.
All the links are in the description box below. And we will see you next time. Bye! Stop. Let's start again.
Hang on, I did a stupid thing on my face then.
What's new?